Okay. Welcome to week 2, day 2, morning algorithm session, everyone. We're going to discuss the object concept in JavaScript. Okay. So far, when we have discussed non-primitive data types, we've discussed one was the array. Now 2, we're going to discuss the object, okay? This is another type of non-primitive data type. And the way an object works is it stores values like an array does, but it doesn't store the values in an order that is indexed, right? We have these values representing the indexes that they're at, okay? And an object is a little bit different. Let's do it in a different, now let's make it in blue still, okay? An object has these brackets, and it has something called the key value pair. So you have a key, and then you have a value. And so the way data is stored in an object is by this key value pair. The way you find something in an array, you say, okay, give me something at index, second to last, or give me something at the index at the very beginning. So then you say, okay, at index 0, give me this value. When we work with an object, instead of calling the index position, we are calling the key. If we have the key, then we can get what's in here, the value, right? The value here in this index is 0. If we call 0, we get the value 0. If we call the correct key in the object, then we get the value. So we have to learn how then we can access the different keys and values. How can we access the different values? All right, so let's discuss the object a little bit further as well. Let's look at the platform here first. All right, so we have these variables. This one's a string, this one's a string, and this one is an array of strings, right? So this is what we're used to seeing so far. Arrays can have strings within them. Okay, now we're going to discuss how we can have data stored in an object. Here we have a variable name, equals, and then the curly brackets. Objects have curly brackets. And here on the left-hand side of the colon, we have the key. On the right-hand side of the colon, we have the value. Okay, that's the key on the left and the value. So we have to learn then how we can print the value. And this is how we would do it. Look at this console log. Console log tortilla plus taco1.tortilla. So this object is called taco1. And the way we got the key tortilla is by saying dot and then tortilla. Okay, let's see if we can make that bigger. This taco1 dot tortilla is how we would get the value soft corn tortilla. So we need to have some practice with console logging different values from an object today so we can get the hang of it. If this was an array, we would just be targeting through writing the braces, right? We would do something like this. Imagine if it were an array somehow, and we would say taco1 at value 0. Now we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this anymore. We're going to be doing it this way. Taco1 dot tortilla, that's going to access this here. Okay, I'm going to take a poll to see how well we understand this so far. This is not something we should expect on the test. We're just learning about algorithms right now. This is just something related to JavaScript. Okay, this is just JavaScript. And so let's look at this object. Var taco1 equals, and we have an object here. And then the first key we see has a value of another string. So it's a string. String is the key, or the key is a string. The value is a string as well. And we see that for these protein, cheese, toppings. Toppings, we see its value is an array. Okay, so now we know that objects can contain arrays. Objects may contain arrays because they're non-primitive, meaning they can have multiple types of data within them. So toppings has this array of strings, and then taco info, the last value is a function. Taco info is a function. And this function does these several things. It console logs the toppings. So the value of a key can also be a function. Can also be a function. Also, we can use the keyword this as well. Okay. See this object here and how the last value is the function. This dot tortilla, this is going to be targeting the scope of everything in the area. Do you remember how when we use the keyword this on like a on click, how it would attach everything to it? Now this here is grabbing everything around it, and it sees here that this dot tortilla, it's accessing this key. So it's getting this value. This is a shorter way of getting these values than getting them this way. Instead of saying taco.1.tortilla, instead of defining the exact taco that you're already in, you can say this instead of using the name of the object that you're in. So this is just another way of accessing your own data. All right, how well do we understand this particular topic using this within an object? Yeah, this is maybe a little bit more confusing, but as soon as you use it and you console log it, then you'll see, okay, it's no different than, it's very similar to the way that we use this when we used it, passing it through data on an on-click. Okay, now for this morning's algorithm, what are we going to do? We're going to get the values out of objects. All right, so here we have an object monster. It has an ID of 1, name of Bulbasaur, and types. It has 2 different types here, poison and grass, and that's stored within an array. So how would we access monsters name. We're looking at just this area here. How would we access the monster's name? Can someone tell me?
Monster.name.
Yep. So if we say monster.name. Okay. Now, how would we access this specific type of the monster in the monster object?
Monster.types array of 1.
Okay, so we say monster dot types, and then we say at array position 1. That's how we're going to get that specific grass type. Okay, so let's look at this bigger object. Now we have an array of objects, right? Here above, we started with an object that had an array for one of the values. Now we have an array of different objects. So these are at different array positions. And within these different objects, we have different Pokemon. We have their IDs, their names, and their types. Anyone ever play the Pokemon game?
Yes.
Anyone not play the Pokemon game? It's okay to be proud of that. No, I think we all know this. That some Pokemons have IDs, what number and order they come on the chart of all the Pokemon, and then we have their names, and then we have their types in an array. So we have to access their key and then their array and then whatever position there as well. So we have a list of different challenges today. When we break out into groups, we're going to go through all these challenges. The first challenge is console log the Pokemon objects whose ID is evenly divisible by 3. So look through this array and find all the IDs whose ID is divisible by 3. Console log those. Second one is console log the Pokemon objects that have more than one type. Okay, if one of these objects has more than one type, console log those Pokemon. Console log the names of the Pokemon whose only type is poison. Some of these Pokemon have a type whose only type is poison. Ekans and Arbok. So we want you to console log the names of the Pokemon whose only type is poison. And the last challenge is console log the first type of all the Pokemon whose second type is flying. So some have 2 types and some have their second type as flying. So look at this one. Pidgey has a normal type and a flying type. We're going to console log Pidgey in this case, along with all the other Pokemon that have second type of flying. And the bonus challenge is console log the reverse of the names of the Pokemon whose only type is poison. All right, the ones that have only type poison, console log the reverse of their names. Okay, so do we all understand the challenge? Anyone have any questions? Okay, let's get started.
Yeah.
All right, let's present for question 1.
I'll share my screen. Okay. I'll share my screen. Okay, so the first one, we need to find Pokemon's number divisible by 3. And here is our answer. So I'm going to paste it. So we did, I string is I equals 0 and I is less than Pokemon but string. I mean dot length and I plus plus. And if Pokemon I and that ID is divisible by 3 equals 0 evenly, and it should print out the name. Should be console.log. And when we run it, okay. Let's see, where is it? Went wrong.
We need the function. Ben, you still got the function?
We
Yeah,
forgot this.
the functions and the variable defined.
Yeah, I forgot to put the name in there. Sorry. Okay. Now it should work.
Okay, there we go. All right. So, okay, nicely done. Divisible by 3. We found all the Pokemon. And I like
Yes.
your presentation style. So very good, Isaiah. Let's move on to the next one. More than one type. Who would like to present?
Well, I guess I can do it then.
Thank you. All right.
Share my screen. So more than one type. I think you can see it now, right?
Yes.
So more than one type. So basically, you just ask if the type stat length is greater than 1, and that's number 3. So this is what it prints out, or number 2, whatever it's called.
Nice. And again, your font looks like it's like a code from like a movie scene or something. The font is so
Yeah.
elegant. All right, let's move along. Next question.
I'll do it.
All right, thank you, Yancy. Oh, you
So,
forgot that last bracket on 46.
oh, here we go. For this one was just to find the Pokemon who's only poison. We did it by Pokemon I types equals poison, and then we did an and we have both conditions has to be used to console log it and to get the poison ones.
Nice. Nicely done. We got Ekans and Arbok. Now, with the group I was working with, we tried doing it this way. For some reason, it was being stubborn. I think it was just because we were missing the right syntax. So Pokemon at 1 types length. That's how we find out the length of the array at that key value pair. Right, and I like the use of the double ampersand. So nice job, Yancey's group. All right, next one.
I guess I can do it. What was the question again?
It was after types poison, so it has to be first type of all the Pokemon whose second type is flying.
So flying, okay. So for that, wait, do I have that one? I'm not sure if I have that. What the heck?
Okay. All right. Well, no worries.
Actually, I can just ask. Wait, Sylvie, could you send it to the chat so I can paste it?
Yeah, it's in the platform. Second type is flying. So if you go to the platform, that section there.
No, I don't think I have the code for some reason. I must have forgotten to paste that one. Shoot.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Just
It's okay.
yeah. So I mean, what I would have done was
Oh, Sylvia just sent it in the chat, so you can
Okay,
copy and paste
yeah.
it from the chat.
All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so
There we go.
yeah. So what I would have aside from naming it flying, so what we did was we would keep the for loop. We would just keep the for loop consistent, and What we did was, because we're looking for the second index, we did Pokemon of I dot types of 1, since that would target the second index, which is what we're looking for with the flying type. And so yeah, we just basically consoled that one, and we basically got the yeah, we basically just got
That's
I
right.
might have to, yeah, sorry, I might have to, it's gonna take a while for me to run this code, since I should have copied and pasted underneath the variables.
It's okay. You can just you can just run it by highlighting it and then running the code by pressing play. Oh, I see. You have to have the variable available down
Yeah.
there.
Is there a way to like separately highlight the statements, or is that just not possible?
No, you just did it right there.
Oh, I forgot to save it. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, there we go. All the Pokemon whose second type is flying. And did anyone do the bonus question? Nice job, Ryan's group.
Yeah, I could do the bonus one as well.
Okay, you did the bonus one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just present for that so we can get on with the lecture.
Okay. Yeah. So for the reverse poison, we basically we started backwards. So the starting point of I would be Pokemon.length -1. And so since we're looking for the first type, we made sure that the if statement would only target arrays that only had an array length of 1 index. And we also made sure that the types was poison. So that's how we did it. We created so we created 2 if statements inside one, and yeah, we just basically targeted that.
Okay. Nice. And can we see it in action?
No, okay, yeah, sorry, I have
Just
to
delete the flying. Just delete the flying. And then you can reverse it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure why my computer is suddenly slow.
It can smell your fear. So if you
So Josh, was it looking to just reverse the names or like just the positions?
reverse the names, as in read the names backward.
Oh.
So if you read Arbok backwards, it would you would pronounce it Cobra. If you read Ekans backward, you would read snake.
Wait, oh, sorry, I think we misunderstood directions. I thought we were supposed to say the names backwards in order.
Okay. Did anyone get that one? Get the point
I
of
can
getting that
present
one?
that,
All right, great.
Greg. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it. Basically, if you want the Pokemon whose only type is poison, you really just have to check this position or this condition. Sorry. This assumes that the length is 1, and it also assumes that the only type is poison. And then once you do that, you just rename the Pokemon. So sorry, I'm a little under the weather. But the first thing you do is you can't just directly reverse the name. You have to split it up so that each character is an element in an array. So if the name is, excuse me, so if the name is Mark, it would be M-A-R-K as elements in the array. Then once you have that array, you reverse it. And then once you reverse it, then you join everything back on empty space, which will put it back into one name. And so that's how you get Snake and Cobra.
Yep.
So we were allowed to use built-in functions?
That's why this one was a bonus one. So yes, you're allowed to use built-in functions for this one specifically. If you understood the object, and I should have explained it a little bit more in detail, that one. But you guys all got the core questions correct, so don't worry if you misunderstood that question. Those are built-in functions. We didn't explain how those work exactly, but thank you, Mark, for showing that, and that's how you would do it. Thank you, Mark. And Mark's group. Okay, let's continue on with our day. So we finish our morning algorithm. We'll take a quick 10-minute break and then continue on with our lecture. So let's do that now.